Hey, Chiefs Kingdom, Harrison Graham back with another episode of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. And hey, this is the time to subscribe because Jarran Reed is a Kansas City Chief. We'll talk about that in just a second, but we're going to break down the latest news, rumors. The draft is literally like exactly a month away, so this is the time to join the movement. We just crossed 15,000 subscribers. Let's keep the momentum rolling. Hit that big red button and subscribe, or you see the link on screen. It's youtube.com/ChiefsTV. You're watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Let's get into the news of the day. Kansas City has signed defensive tackle Jarran Reed. This happened late on Sunday night, and we're breaking it down here on a Monday morning. So let's get into the hard facts here. 1-year deal for Reed. $5 million of that is guaranteed. He can earn up to $7 million in incentives. And if you ask me, this defensive line is about as nasty as you're going to find in the National Football League with Jarran Reed, Chris Jones, and Frank Clark. You get Jones and Clark, who were coming off years of decent production, but not their best years by any mean. You add Jarran Reed. I absolutely love this move. I think this defensive line has the potential to be the best in the NFL in 2021. Remember everybody saying Brett Veach can't get it done. I'm listening. I'm waiting to see where those people went because all of a sudden it's Brett Veach is back. He didn't go anywhere, guys. This guy knows what he's doing as the Chiefs general manager. To get Jarran Reed at a pretty team-friendly deal, that's good work from Brett Veach, and I am fired up to have Jarran Reed in the fold, as I assume some of you guys are as well. Productive in 2020, had 6.5 sacks as an interior pass rusher. He's been largely regarded as one of the better interior pass rushers, behind guys like Chris Jones and Aaron Donald, of course, but he's one of the better interior DLs in the NFL, and now he is a member of the Kansas City Chiefs, again creating that trio with Chris Jones and Frank Clark. So grade the move for me. A, B, C, D, or F. 1 year, $5 million, up to $7 million. I think this is a flat-out A. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Type your grades on this one. And again, I'm giving it an A. I just think the value is good. It fills a need. You get another defensive lineman that can rush the passer, because remember last year, the pass rushing unit was kind of average. Frank Clark didn't have his best season. Chris Jones had a bunch of quarterback hits, but only had 7.5 sacks. But now you bring Jarran Reed in there, and a lot of people are like, why is Jarran Reed taking less money to sign in Kansas City? I'll tell you why. Because he's never going to get double-teamed playing on this defensive line. Chris Jones gets double-teamed a lot. Frank Clark does at times as well. You plug him in there, he's going to get a lot of one-on-one opportunities, and guess what's going to happen? The cap is going to explode next year. He'll hit the market, and some other team will likely end up paying him the bag. So I think it's a good career move for him. It gives him a chance to chase a Super Bowl in 2021 in Kansas City, and then we'll see what the future holds beyond this year. But obviously the focus is what he can bring to this team right here and right now. I want to show you his 2018 numbers because this was probably the best season of his career. Double-digit sacks, 24 quarterback hits, had 50 tackles as well. And you're probably saying, Harrison, why are you showing me his numbers from 2 years ago? Well, he's back with Frank Clark, and in 2018, he was lined up next to Frank Clark on the Seahawks defensive line, and now these buddies are teamed up once again with Chris Jones. This is a great thing and a great day if you are a Kansas City Chiefs fan. You got Clark and Reed, who are buddies. They play well off one another, and I'm fired up about this Jarran Reed signing. Who will lead the team in sacks in 2021? Type CJ for Chris Jones. Type FC for Frank Clark. Type JR for Jarran Reed. I don't really care, but I'm thinking 25-plus sacks with these three dudes combined. But get your votes in. Most sacks out of these three players. Now, we are presented by BetUS on today's show. Head over to chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. You can get that promo code Chiefs125 for 125% deposit bonus. We're filming this on Monday morning, which means we got Elite 8 action tonight and on Tuesday night as well. And these are the spreads as they sit right now. Baylor, 8-point favorites over Arkansas in the Elite Eight. Houston, 7.5-point favorites over Oregon State. Don't sleep on the Beavers. They're playing really well. I love Gonzaga -9 over USC. I know it's a high spread, but the Zags look unbeatable. USC's been good, but I think this is a different animal for them. And then Michigan, 7.5-point favorites over UCLA. How much do the Bruins have left in the tank after going to overtime with Alabama? I like Michigan on Tuesday night as well. But some bigger spreads for the Elite Eight. Feel free to go bet on those games. You can bet on the over-under as well. There's money to be made at chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. Use that URL, plug in that promo code Chiefs125, and you can get a 125% deposit bonus. A lot of NCAA tournament action left to be played. Go ahead and get going. Let's talk Chris Jones now, as after the signing of Jarran Reed here on the Chiefs Report. There's a lot of chatter now that maybe Chris Jones could play some defensive end, and let's explore this for a little bit, because Jarran Reed and Chris Jones are both interior pass rushers. So what does that mean? That means that if you're running a 4-3 scheme, they don't really bring a lot of difference to the table from one another. They both rush the quarterback pretty well. They're passable as run defenders, but that's not exactly their strength. And when it comes to Chris Jones, we know he's played defensive end in the past. Remember, when the Chiefs ran a 3-4 prior to the 2019 campaign, that's all he played. He played on the edge. And we've seen at times since Spags has been on board the past couple of seasons, he's played some 4-3 defensive end as well. You know, obviously he's around 300 pounds, so height and weight size would tell you he's a defensive tackle, but he is more than capable of playing on the outside, and some have speculated that with the Reed signing, maybe Chris Jones could kick out wide on some or maybe even a lot of downs this upcoming season. Louis Riddick, Monday Night Football analyst for ESPN, explored this, said, expect to see Chris Jones play more defensive end on first and second down, stay inside on third down, which is primary passing downs. Was used like this in the AFC Championship 2 years ago against the Titans. Reed acquisition is going to make the Chiefs' defensive line much better and much multiple. And that last part I really agree with. Versatility is going to be the name of the game for this defensive front in 2021. So you kind of look at how things could stack up if he plays defensive end. Okay, you got Clark and Jones on the outside there. You're feeling pretty good. Jarran Reed, who we know can rush the passer. Tershawn Wharton, who was an absolute gem of a find as a UDFA last year. Or you could work in Derek Nottie in that starting lineup as well. Kalen Saunders still in the fold also. You've got different options if you are Kansas City, if you are Steve Spagnuolo, because the addition of Jarran Reed, it makes you more versatile. It makes you more multiple, like Louis Riddick said. Options. That's what Steve Spagnuolo likes. He likes versatility. Think about what we've seen in the secondary the past couple of years with moving around Tyrann Mathieu, the three safety looks of Mathieu, Thornhill, and Dan Sorensen. Spags likes having different dudes that can do different things. Chris Jones can play defensive end. He can slide and play defensive tackle, depending on if it's obvious run or passing downs. And I like this versatility he's going to have now that Jarran Reed is in the fold, and look for Chris Jones to move around from time to time. So what do you guys think? Should Chris Jones play defensive end? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I think you should on some downs. I definitely think you should move him around, because you should move all great players around so they're not just locked into one spot. Get your vote in Y for yes or N for no. Chris Jones last year, 7.5 sacks. You paid him to be a double-digit sack guy. I think he'll get closer to that in 2021. Now that Reed is on board, I expect a better season out of Frank Clark as well, but I'm excited, man. I'm excited about getting Jarran Reed in the fold. I'm excited about year 2 of Chris Jones after signing that big contract. Hopefully a normal offseason. I think he gets closer to what we expect him to be after the Chiefs signed him to that massive deal. And I think we'll see him play some defensive end this upcoming season for the Kansas City Chiefs. Give me a follow on Twitter. I'm at HGramNFL. I tweeted about the Jarran Reed signing just after it happened, getting the video out to you guys today. So if you want more Chiefs news, rumors, information, obviously subscribe to the channel. But of course, follow me on Twitter at HGramNFL. I can react in real time depending on when certain things happen. So go ahead and give me a follow. Let's talk the Dan Sorensen signing here on the Chiefs Report, and it has been finalized. He will return to Kansas City on a 1-year contract, fully guaranteed deal of less than $2.5 million. I mean, that's a pretty bargain deal for a guy who's played a pretty big role the past couple of years and really did in 2020 as Juan Thornhill was still kind of working his way back from that ACL tear late in 2019. I mean, almost had 100 tackles, guys. Had 3 interceptions. We know he finds the football, 5 pass breakups. He can lay the wood as well. A couple of forced fumbles for Dan Sorensen. And we know his value in terms of a leadership standpoint and as a special teams contributor. Remember, in the playoff run a couple of years ago, that fake punt he sniffed out against the Texans, do the Chiefs win that game if he doesn't do that? I don't know. That changed the entire complexion of that run. So Dirty Dan back in the fold for just under $2.5 million and his cap hit of less than $2 million. So that's a really team-friendly deal. Now, I do want to mention that Juan Thornhill, we saw him come on late in the year last year, especially in the playoffs, played a little bit more, looked like the guy we saw prior to the ACL injury, which he was slow to start in 2020. Let's be honest. He didn't look like himself until late last season. But one thing I'll say about this Sorensen signing is I don't want him to get in the way of Thornhill's development and his playing time. So I'm glad Dirty Dan is back, but you spent a second-round pick on Juan Thornhill, and he should be a big part of this defense. But remember, Steve Spagnuolo does a lot of 3 safety looks. Sorensen can play some linebackers, so I'm not too worried about that overall. Now, who will have the bigger role on this defense in 2021? Type DS for Dirty Dan, type JT for Juan Thornhill. I'd like to see Thornhill have a bigger role. We'll have to wait and see, but I trust Spags to mix and match and maximize both these guys, so go ahead and get your votes in. Now, my vote is free Juan Thornhill. That doesn't mean don't play Sorensen, but free Juan Thornhill. Cut him loose. Let him play. Let him hover that secondary and be that single high guy that he's capable of being. That way you can let Tyrann Mathieu roam around. You can slide Dirty Dan down in the box some and have him play some linebacker. Let Thornhill play deep coverage because that's what he is really capable of doing. I hope that he has his best year in year 3 under the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Now, some more news. Just wanted to hit on this real quickly. Tanoh Kpassagnon, he's heading to New Orleans on a 2-year deal. I think the signing of Jarran Reed was kind of the writing against the wall for K-Pass here. Good rotation guy. You know, he never quite met expectations, but I thought the last couple of years he improved as a player, and so he heads over to New Orleans. I think the simple fact of the matter is he just wasn't going to find a lot of snaps on this Chiefs defensive line in 2021. So he gets a 2-year contract with the Saints. And we saw in 61 games, okay, most of that production the last 2 years. So like I said, he was improving. But I just think he got a little squeezed out here on this Chiefs roster, on this Chiefs front four. And at the end of the day, it was probably best for both sides for him to get a better opportunity in New Orleans and for the Chiefs, you know, to be able to sign a guy like Jarran Reed. That obviously made a lot of sense. So Kpassagnon, he's off to New Orleans on a 2-year deal.